It's another edition of Time About the Movies, and welcome to 1992. We're looking at January 3rd, 1992. But as we usually do when we start off with a new year, we take a look at some of the leftover films from the past year that we didn't get to talk about in other episodes. The good news is there wasn't that many movies on the list that I looked at on Wikipedia that I haven't already looked at already, but there were at least 5 movies to look at, and 4 of them were 91 films. One of them was actually a new release that came out this weekend. Most of them I haven't really seen, so this should be another real quick one here, but let's get right to it. Let's start with the biggest of the releases that I didn't get to look at in 91, and it's a movie that kind of holds a nostalgic place in my heart, and that is Rodney Dangerfield and the animated feature, Rover Dangerfield.
No respect. No respect at all.
He's the last word in animal magnetism.
I'm smart. Well, when I was paper trained, I learned to read.
He's the hottest thing that ever hit Las Vegas.
I love my life in Las Vegas. I wouldn't change it for anything. I got it made here.
He's animation's newest party animal.
Why, it's a dog's life and I love it. Las Vegas is the place for me.
He's Rover Dangerfield.
Hey, gang, how you doing?
He's a big city hound on his way out of town.
Oh, pardon me. I mean, I'm new in town.
Way out of town.
I'm on a farm. I think I'll change my name to Jethro. What a vocabulary.
He's hot on the trail of fun.
Get away from those chickens.
Look, we're buddies.
And adventure.
Who do you think you're dealing with? Little Red Riding Hood?
And he's about to discover
Hey, who's she?
a farm is the perfect place for love to grow.
I'd give up a phone for you, 'cause that's how much you mean to me. When I first saw your face, my heart began to race. You filled my soul with ecstasy. Hey, Big Mouth, who asked for a wake-up call?
He's man's best friend.
Fetch, boy, fetch!
You want it? You go get it.
He's Rover Dangerfield, the dog who gets no respect.
No respect at all.
So yeah, this is one of those weird ones. Technically, it did come out in 1991. I'm guessing it was in theaters, but if you go to Box Office Mojo for the weekend of August 2nd, it wasn't on their list. But I'm guessing Warner Brothers kind of dumped it out there because they really didn't know what this movie was capable of doing. And really, when you look at that production history, you could kind of see why this was a movie that was developed in the 1980s. It was originally supposed to be released in 88, and it was actually supposed to be more of an R-rated film, kind of like what Ralph Bakshi used to do. But Warner Brothers toned it down completely to make it to a G rating, and I guess they were expecting this to make some kind of a profit or something, because not only did they have the movie out there, but they did have toys, and I have the proof right here. Yeah, that's a Rover Dangerfield plush they put out there from Namco. And as you can see there, it was from 1990, so I guess they were going to release it back then, but I actually found this on Mercari a couple of months ago, and I figured, you know what? I figured I might as well get it, because like I said before, this is a movie that holds kind of a nostalgic place in my heart. I mean, yeah, it's a movie that I used to see all the time. They used to play it on HBO, Disney Channel, Cartoon Network a lot in the 1990s. And like I said before, it has a lot of sentimental, nostalgic value to a lot of people, myself included. I really love this movie. I know it's completely ridiculous, it's completely silly, but in a way, I do kind of enjoy it. I think the animation overall is fantastic. This is done by Hyperion Animation. If you don't know their names, you've definitely seen their work. These are the guys that also did The Brave Little Toaster in the 80s, and then 92, they would actually do Bebe's Kids, but we'll get into that movie a little bit later on. The voice work as a whole is actually really good. I mean, Rodney Dangerfield can usually boost even the worst movies by having himself appear in it, and he's pretty funny in here. He's actually kind of enjoyable to watch here. You've also got a lot of notable voice talents in here, like Susan Blue, Dana Hill, Greg Berger, Tress MacNeille, Bob Bergen. A lot of prolific voice actors you've heard in numerous shows and movies. The songs are surprisingly catchy and memorable. I can't remember who actually wrote the songs for this, but I mean, they're really damn good. Like, it's impossible to not start humming these tunes once you start hearing them. I mean, for what it is, it's just a delightful movie, especially if you grew up with it at the time. There are definitely a lot of flaws to the movie. The bad guy, Rocky, is not really all that interesting. He's just kind of a generic bad guy. The script has been there, done that. It's pretty much Doc Hollywood, which is interesting because this actually came up before Doc Hollywood. And really, probably the biggest flaw of the movie is that you could definitely tell it was toned down as it was supposed to be. It really wasn't working for them, and it mostly didn't help that Rodney Dangerfield and Warner Brothers weren't on the best of terms after what happened with Caddyshack 2. If you haven't heard about that story, that's something interesting too, because Rodney Dangerfield was actually going to be in Caddyshack 2, but he didn't. But he fought with Warner Brothers and the producers behind that movie, so he decided not to do that film, and they instead replaced him with Jackie Mason. But overall, this definitely felt like a different movie than what Dangerfield signed on for. I think it would have been very interesting to see what an R-rated take on this would have been like, but for the movie we got, I think it is actually a pretty interesting movie. Yeah, it doesn't quite have the same levels of a Disney or Pixar movie per se, but it doesn't really need to be. It does enough to get a lot of enjoyment and entertainment value from the stuff that it has there. The animation overall is great, the voice cast is very good, so is the music. Just the nostalgic value of it overall is pretty enjoyable. It has flaws, but it still has a special place in my heart. It's just kind of a fun, enjoyable movie to watch. It's stuff like, it's not quite up there with stuff like Chipmunk Adventure or DuckTales the movie, the stuff that I used to watch a lot as a kid, where I can watch it numerous times in a row, but it is still a very fun movie, and I think more people, if you go into it with more of a sense of having fun with it and not expecting like this great cinematic masterpiece, I think you can definitely get something out of this movie. So there you go. That's Rover Dangerfield for you. So with that said, let's go ahead and move on to the next movie that we have here, and this one definitely deserved the R rating that it got, and maybe even more so. In fact, did it even get an R rating? I'm now thinking right now. It's Riki-Oh, the story of Riki. I guess it did get an R rating. I can't really confirm it for sure, but if you've seen the story of Riki, you could definitely tell that it probably deserved an R rating. Hell, probably deserved an NC-17, considering how much gore is in here. But really, that's kind of the fun of it. I mean, it's best. I mean, the acting, the story, but more importantly, what makes this movie memorable is the fact that it has incredibly brutal and highly unrealistic violence. It's cartoon level times 100, and it's just so campy. It's so over the top. It has some really bad English dubbing on it, but I'll be damned if it's not a hell of a good time. I mean, it's one of those so bad it's good type of movies, but you're just really impressed by how much gore is in here. I'm surprised. I had heard stories about how much gore is in this movie before I actually watched it for the first time a few years ago, and even then, that's not preparing you for what you're about to see with how much violence and gore and blood is in this. But like, I love dark humor, man, and this movie really has a lot of dark humor when you really think about it, because like, man, it's really, really amazing how insane and over the top this movie gets. This is the type of movie that I fall in love with. These gonzo, over the top, ridiculous, crazy movies, like crazy stuff that happens all throughout this film. It's hard not to enjoy it, man. I know some people can't take it because it will be too extremely violent for them, and they probably can't keep up with the pacing of it, but if you're looking for something so cartoonishly over the top, extremely brutal, has a ton of blood and gore in it, this is the movie for you. So that's Riki-Oh, the story of Riki. I wish I could say more about it, but I think you pretty much already have a good idea of what this movie is pretty much about if you've already seen it before. So with that said, let's go ahead and move on to the next movie, and that is Ski School.
Ski School. It's not about learning how to ski. For Dave Marshall and his gang, life is one big party.
Welcome to my kingdom. I will bed you all before the night is through.
They're the best at what they do.
I've been watching you ski. You're really good.
May I present to you Section 8?
But the competition is fierce.
Dead. I control this mountain. And I say this is your last year.
With their backs against the wall, they'll do anything to win.
Do you want to have sex with me?
Okay.
Let's get naked! They've got style. Let the games begin. Class.
Was it something about your wigwam?
Oh. And the perfect secret weapon.
Who is she? Where does she come from? You really care? Oh my God.
If they don't win, they'll lose the mountain forever.
Scum. Let's settle this once and for all. The best against the best. What do you say? Sure. And we ski the dome.
So for the wildest, most outrageous ride of your life, check into Ski School.
Anyone for a hot tub?
I love my wife.
Ski School.
Well, I'll give it this. It certainly looks a whole lot better than Ski Patrol did a couple of years ago, but that's not really saying a whole lot. In fact, honestly, the South Park episode Aspen, I think, took a lot of inspiration from this episode. I mean, along with a lot of movies that are very similar to this, where you have to save the rec center or save the building that everybody goes to. It's that kind of movie. It's just like, looking at this trailer, I can definitely tell South Park probably took a lot from movies like this, and with that particular episode. But as far as the movie itself goes, it doesn't look all that funny. I mean, like I said, it does look a little bit better than something like Ski Academy. But other than that, though, yeah, it looks like your typical teen sex comedy, pretty much. But I don't know. I mean, I can't. Like I said, it looks a lot better than Ski Patrol, but that really isn't saying a whole lot, because Ski Patrol looked absolutely horrible, and then, at least this one is not made by the same people who made Police Academy, so I guess that's a plus to them. So, yeah, let's move on to the next movie, and that is Too Much Sun, which stars Robert Downey Jr., and is directed by his father, Robert Downey Sr.
Downey Jr., Ralph Macchio, Eric Idle, and Andrea Martin. Only in Beverly Hills could a family this wealthy be this outrageous.
So the plot of Too Much Sun is that a multi-millionaire is making out his will. His son is gay, his daughter's a lesbian, yet he vows to leave the fortune to the first one who can produce a grandchild. So, I mean, it's pretty much a premise that's been done to death, kind of, but it has a decent cast to it. I mean, you got Robert Downey Jr. in here, you got Eric Idle, you have Ralph Macchio, you also have Andrea Martin. This was actually one of the three last films that Robert Downey Sr. directed, and he usually would put his son in movies like these, but luckily for Robert Downey Jr., he did eventually become a great actor in his own right, so he didn't have to keep starring in the same movies that his dad was in, but yeah, nothing really about this movie really stands out overall, like, judging from that trailer, so there you go. That's pretty much all I got to say about Too Much Sun. Now let's look at the one new release that came out this weekend in 1992, and that is Bloodsport 3, Forced to Fight.
Don the Dragon Wilson. In Bloodfist, he avenged his brother. In Bloodfist 2, he won the Tournament of Champions. In Future Kick, he fought the battle of the 21st century. Now, Don the Dragon Wilson is Jimmy Bolin, an innocent man, wrongly imprisoned and forced to fight.
Or how about Bloodfist 3? Let's call that. I'm sorry I called it Bloodsport 3, but I'm looking at Bloodfist. There's like 8 different Bloodfist movies, and it's just like, how the hell did they keep making so many of these movies? I mean, really, if you've seen Bloodfist 1 or Bloodfist 2, you pretty much have seen every Bloodfist movie that there is. I mean, because really, they're all kind of pretty much the same movie. I mean, there's nothing really different about any of these Bloodsport. There we go again. Bloodfist movies. Bloodfist. Bloodfist. Not the one with Jean-Claude Van Damme. The one with Don the Dragon Wilson. So, Bloodfist. There we go. This is pretty much the same one movie as the last two. Except you got Shaft in here, Richard Roundtree, and I mean, Richard Roundtree made so many great movie decisions in the 1990s. Theodore Rex, Steel. Yeah, he didn't. Yeah, Shaft should have known better than these movies. But this is the last one of these movies to be released theatrically, so I won't make that mistake again. But there's still 5 more sequels to this, which baffles me that they made so many movies. I mean, if this movie is any indication that these movies are pretty much the same, those movies are pretty much the same as this movie, which doesn't really say a whole lot. I mean, like I said before, I'm not really into these type of films. I mean, I can't get into them. I know people can, but I mean, me personally, I don't really understand the appeal of them. So that's all I got. Bloodfist 3. There we go. Bloodfist 3, Forced to Fight. So on that note, we wrap up another edition of Time About the Movies. Next time we meet, we'll look at the movies of January 10th. Happy 3rd birthday to me, January 10th, 1992. And there are 2 notable movies that came out this weekend, including the Curtis Hanson thriller, The Hand That Rocks the Cradle, and we also have Christian Slater in Cuffs. So 2 movies to look at next time around. So thank you guys for watching, and as always, if you want to see more videos like this, please hit the playlist on the next page, check out the previous episode. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for another episode. So thank you for watching. I'll see you next time, and until then, take care.